Let me step down. All right. I do believe we're live. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is AK. We're back on the crypto and hip hop business. And today we're with Tabo. You know,
Hello, everyone.
yes, Tabo is an architect and he has a lot of interest in crypto, augmented reality, NFTs, the whole shebang. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Staga's gonna join us in probably 10 minutes or so, doing
Okay.
daddy duties. Yeah, so uh, yeah, man, this will be a great show.
Yeah.
It'll be a great show as usual. Our primary mandate is to just share our experiences. In the crypto sphere. Whatever advances are happening that side, just so that people know
Yeah.
what's coming, and also in the context, yeah, Botswana. Botswana, Botswana.
Very
So
true.
these things they sound like very foreign and alien. Remember, everybody's thinking for the crypto, it's some kind of scam. So we're trying to demystify that.
Yeah.
Just somebody knows, uh, we are not financial advisors. Everything we say in this show is not financial advice. We're just sharing our experiences in the world of crypto, and how we're doing it. How we're handling it. So it's just information. We're not saying you should spend any money or do anything. I get it out.
Definitely.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself, my guy.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me. I'm loving this initiative. Seeing that people we're all there in our corners, researching, learning, testing, and trying new things out. And I think with COVID and all of that, we've looked to really try and bridge this digital divide. Promoting internet, as Botswana also really get involved in this industrial revolution, as they said. Um, but for me personally, yeah, as you said earlier, I'm an architect by profession, but I'm one person who's never been defined by my role. And I think you define yourself by your interests, and you'll find spaces that you can actually impact, even if you've never gone to school or were not from that industry. So growing up, I've always been interested in 3D design and 3D entertainment, gaming. As an architect, I work with 3D a lot in modeling houses and so on. But I've always been interested in the latest software, the latest way they do it. You look at these architects from Dubai and they build these very intricate buildings, and you find out that they use code now. It's no longer just, modeling, visually. There's actually
Yeah.
what they call procedural modeling. And a lot of that stuff goes into coding. It goes into the fields that you are speaking about in cryptography. So all of that is based on algorithms and code. So design is coming towards that also in terms of automation and things that you can't, not limited to just as one person. So I've got my own startup that I started with a co-founder in 2017, and
Mhm.
were two architects that came together and we wanted to go into the technology space. And we actually came through with virtual reality, with augmented reality. We started there. And then during the pandemic, we developed a platform, a 3D interactive platform for virtual events. And we were lucky to start with the first one that happened last year, yeah, Global Expo, which was a virtual Global Expo. We partnered with Native Events on that one. I got to meet the president. It was quite a big affair. So that was part of our breakout event that we did, virtual event. So we created this platform and we caught the digital bug, as we'd say, and we've been doing interactive platforms for various companies. And because it's technology, sometimes there's a barrier to entry in terms of costs for such things. So we've started in the enterprise. We've done stuff for BTC. We're part of the B Innovation Hub, so we registered under that. So yeah, we're moving in the space. But personally, I also like to delve in a lot of art, and I sort of my first foray into cryptocurrencies and the likes is through NFTs. This new craze that has come up in the couple of years, it boosted in 2017 at the beginning when there were these things called crypto punks, and was the first NFTs that were done. And there was these guys who just put these procedurally generated art forms where the computer uses algorithms, puts in different assets, and creates one of a kind. And they did about 10,000 pieces that they put onto the blockchain. And that's how basically the whole thing started. So yeah, that's more of the introduction into the space. Yeah.
All right. No, that's excellent, man. That's excellent. You're a busy man. You're not just limited to your architectural, stuff. You're
Yeah.
venturing into the art, media creation, I guess, and a whole lot of other things.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So NFTs, man, NFTs. I don't own any NFTs. I
Mhm.
don't understand really. I try to look. I say, okay, what is an NFT really? Can
Mhm.
we get into that? What is an
Yeah.
NFT?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think for the shorthand, the NFT, the word itself stands for non-fungible token.
yeah.
So there's a couple of words there that are new. Fungible and non-fungibility in currencies, you'd probably describe it as, say, money, for instance. You take 10 pula, a 10 pula note can be
Hmm.
broken down into 5 pula notes, or 10 1 pula notes. That's
Yes.
fungibility. It can be equated to another variant of itself. But when you come to non-fungible, it means it's one of a kind, one of one. It can't be broken down or re-represented as something else. So art historically has always been a non-fungible asset. A lot of people in the affluent worlds, they purchase fine art as an investment, where it appreciates as anything, it depreciates as anything. So between non-fungible and fungible assets, things like a car is a non-fungible asset. You have that
Hmm.
one of that car. Yes, there may be another model or another owner of the same car, but the one you bought with its model number, engine number, is one. So it's not like money where you can break it apart and equate it to something else. Even a house, it can be seen as a non-fungible asset. But now with NFTs, now we come to the point of where there's tangible and intangible. Intangible now are the digital assets. You can't touch them. That's where now it gets into the NFT side of things, where you have physical assets which are tangible. Money, you can touch it, feel it, the value of it. But then when you go to intangible assets like NFTs, where it's a digital product, and I know with when you come to NFTs, a lot of people come think about, but I can screenshot this image and take it for myself. Or I can record that video that they say is an NFT and watch it on YouTube or somewhere else. But what makes it the NFT is actually the crypto smart contract that's on the blockchain ledger that says that specific artwork belongs to this specific person. and they bought it at this specific price. And as we know, blockchain, it's a decentralized ledger. It cannot be rewritten or changed or edited. It's a true authentication sort of contract. So
Yeah.
basically, NFTs sit on that, similarly to how cryptocurrencies are on a blockchain, and it's a decentralized format. There's no third parties like a bank saying who depreciate and appreciate the value of the currency. The market does that. So with NFTs, they sit on a blockchain called Ethereum. It's an open source blockchain, and what people do is that you will then transform. Let's say you take a JPEG or an image of an artwork. You will then do what they call minting, which is actually putting it onto the blockchain and linking that image's ID to a crypto smart contract to say this is this image and its value is this much. So even if people can take the visual look of the image, if they can copy it, screenshot it, take it wherever, they are still not the owner. The ownership is where the key of NFTs comes in. The blockchain ledger saying that this belongs to person A, person B, they sold it to person C, is actually where the value comes in. And because it's a new space, the law has not caught up to it quite yet. And that's where you get it being very fruitful for, miscellaneous things such as money laundering, tax evasion, because now it's a new unknown space where vast amounts of wealth can be moved around online. Yeah.
Yeah, very very good explanation. So you know that part, of the actual, because I was like, nah, man, but you can just copy the
Yeah.
picture, you know. Yes, you can copy the picture, but you can't copy the hash. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the NFT is actually the hash key,
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're saying to someone, hey, I'm selling this NFT, uh take a look, you would send him the hash key, then he would go and take a look at what that key represents on the
Yeah.
blockchain. I get it. Then
Exactly.
then he sees the graphic. I get it.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's similar to, let's say, physical art. You'll take it to a curator and then they authenticate it. Hore, this is the Mona Lisa. There are people who check it. Yes, it was drawn by Da Vinci or whoever the artist was. They make sure all that history from the creator as an artist to the buyer and the value of the item. It's all there in a historical ledger as to the blockchain. So you can trace back where this thing has come from, who created it. And that opens up a whole new value for artists, because as artists, you'll create an artwork, sell it to someone, and now your attachment in terms of finances to that piece is gone. You don't have royalties, you don't have sell on ability of it. So what people do now with the part of smart contracts, where it's a contract where you can put, let's say, this NFT, every time it's resold, I, as the creator of the artist, I get 10%. And that's very powerful for artists now, in terms of now there's no more gatekeepers like your auction houses, where I have to now get into an auction house, get my artwork displayed in a gallery, pay the gallery. Usually they charge even 60% of the art value that goes to the gallery. So when you see an artwork going for 20 million, 60% of that is going to the gallery only, before other people touch the hands. And then the artist doesn't get as much as we think they do. So now with NFTs and cryptocurrency, it frees and breaks down gatekeepers and allows the artists themselves to have full ownership of their artwork, full marketing potential for themselves online, digitally, and they get to now have the whole idea of royalties to their artwork as well.
So what happens to like the physical art? Because it's been like, okay, um, this guy will draw, create some sculpture or whatever, and
Yeah,
then that's like a one of one, and then
yeah,
you buy that, this is the thing. You buy it, and then
Mm.
you will hang it on your wall and say, "Ah, here's my investment there."
Yeah.
What happens to that? All of that now, man.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, great
because
question.
you probably now you go make the sculpture, take a photo,
Mm.
attach a hash key to it, and then put it on the blockchain. Then you can throw that other thing away. you know?
So I think what you've said there that's quite interesting is for the physical traditional art, what some people are doing is, let's say you have this sculpture, the physical one. As we know, time and the security of that product, it can get damaged, degraded over time. So what some people do is they create a digital variant of that art piece. They can 3D scan it if it's a model, if it's a sculpture, or if it's a painting, they can take a high resolution photo of it and then put it onto the blockchain. Now that digital variant of it can be now sold and has more reach worldwide. So someone can say, I want a piece of the Mona Lisa. Yes, I will never be able to get the one that's in the museum, but I can get the digital variant. And it's authenticated that this digital variant is linked to the physical Mona Lisa. So there's a bit of a hybrid NFTs that some people are doing where you have a physical asset that's, amplified into digital NFTs. So that's what some
Yeah,
people are actually doing. The other thing is you can actually put in, let's say on a painting, a physical painting, you can put that hash as a physical QR code of sorts that's linked to the blockchain ledger. So even physical objects can still have an identification, just like an engine will have an engine number etched into it. That number can also then be linked to the blockchain, and the value of that physical object will always be known. So if I'm ever selling that art piece on, I can find out who the previous buyer was, how much they bought it for, because it's linked to the blockchain, which now helps in terms of limiting things like fraud in the arts, where if you buy this art piece or you want to buy an art piece, you can actually look through the history of it, of all the transactions that happened, and know, okay, am I getting the real Mona Lisa or is this a fake one that someone painted?
100%, 100%. Um, okay, value.
Mm.
How do they get value? You know,
Yeah.
I heard some guy sold that thing for $30 million.
Mm.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
what's happening this?
Yeah. Value now, that's another important part that comes to cryptocurrencies. Because they are one of one, to start off with, that creates a
Sorry
scarcity
about that.
element to it because you only ever have one of that item. So people attach value to that item being rare. Similarly to just in general, art works on that system of rarity. But there's also value, intrinsic value, which is created by one, the artist. So if you buy a piece of work, you look at who made it. So if it's a famous person, that's why you're seeing a lot of celebrities going into NFTs, because their brand as a celebrity adds value to that NFT. So you say, okay, this NFT is I don't know, LeBron James's NFT. So that
Mm.
value of LeBron James as the basketball player is intrinsically tied into that NFT. The next thing
Yeah,
is,
we got a question there on the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
okay. Yes, so someone can take, for example, listen in Google's work and turn into an NFT and benefit from more anything. Aha, this is quite a very good question. The law fraternity is actually catching up slowly to this, to the NFT world, and they're doing things like this to protect. What we have to bear in mind is there's the digital world and then there's the physical. The physical has its laws all worked out. So if you do take that person's work and make an NFT out of it, physically, you can actually be charged,
Mm.
for stealing someone else's work, because at the end of the day, you're portraying this as your own. So the moment you take something and try sell it, the selling of that said copy thing is now making you liable to saying you are owning this piece of work. So similarly to, let's say, that's why you have when people write, like, design a piece of work, and then they'll say copyright infringement. So copyright infringements protect us from that. Even within the NFT world, you are still protected because it's coming from the physical laws. They still abide by, the NFT world still has to abide by those physical laws.
At
The
what
only,
point?
yeah,
At what point? Let's say, okay, let's say in the process of minting,
yeah,
creating the NFT, whatever. Um, from my understanding, it's like you can do that, without like anybody's sort of intervention or whatever. At what point does somebody say, okay, I'm going to verify this thing for is it truly yours? Again, like some gatekeepers or whatever, or guys who do audits or something like that.
yeah,
Where does that take place? What is the on ramp? You know,
yeah,
to say,
yeah,
look, I've got there's my NFT. It's you can
mm,
see it.
mm,
I don't know if you go to OpenSea
exactly,
or on EtherScan. Maybe
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, you know.
yeah. I
Mm.
think the marketplaces, like you've just said, OpenSea, there's Rarible as well. They also have their verification methods of certain high valuable NFTs, where they make sure that this is not a copy, or someone has just minted an image from someone else and is reselling it as an NFT. So there lies in the authentication. The other thing is that the blockchain ledger will be able to distill all that information of where was this minted, and you can now trace between the original NFT and the one who's copied it. But it's still a very gray area, because right now you have things like, let's say, CryptoPunks. You have people doing variations of CryptoPunks, not really similar, but slight difference, and reselling those as NFTs as well. And currently, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. So I think it's still very, these are the pitfalls on dangers on terms of really doing your research when it comes to an NFT. If you're looking at purchasing one, you have a lot of people who are invisible creators who don't want to be known. A lot of projects, you have people where their identity to the creation of the NFT is a secret, and it's a tactic they use. And I would probably say, if you're ever going to buy an NFT, one, it has to be on a well-known market like your OpenSea and Rarible. Two, you have to be able to know the originators of that piece of work. If it's the famous one is called Beeple. He's a famous artist who actually made the most money on NFTs currently. He's an artist who started doing digital art, and then his artwork was taken and created into NFTs. Now everyone wants to get one of those, but they make sure that it's attached and it's an original Beeple NFT. So I think fraud is something that crosses the digital and physical realm, and there's no difference for someone forging money and creating a fake banknote. Until you really put it up to the skylight and check, you have to do your due diligence as well as someone in this space. Yeah.
No, 100%.
Mm.
Let's segue a little bit into, okay, we're talking about graphics
Yeah.
again, primarily for NFT. What about audio? What about the music, the singing guy, the rapper, and whatever? I mean, how does that work for them?
Mm. No, it's
What are
that's
the
a
applications?
great.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. The music industry can also benefit greatly from the NFT creation. What some people are doing is they'll release an album and maybe take one of the songs and make that into an NFT. So the audio file is the NFT, and it's linked to the blockchain. So
Mm,
you can now buy that audio file and say, I own this song by this artist. Yes, other people can listen to it, they can play it multiple times and so on and so forth, which I would probably say that's actually increasing the value of the owner, because obviously usage of such a product also increases the value of it as well. So if you now own that specific song as the artist as well, whenever someone sells that song on, you as the artist, the recording artist, you now can get those royalties as well. So it's another way that is freeing up the market for creators to take control
Yeah.
of their art form and make money
All right.
off the back end of that as well.
Okay. We got Staga. He's just joined us. Let him in.
Awesome, awesome.
Wagwan brethren.
What's up, bros?
Afternoon,
It's all
afternoon,
good. It's
guys.
all good.
How you
Yeah,
doing,
man.
man?
We're here with Tabo. He's just joined us. You know, we bumped into each other on Facebook. We were talking about NFTs, and I realized, nah, man, this guy knows something. You know, so he's just been breaking down like who he is, an architect. You know, IQ should have been in here with us. You know,
What's up, Tava?
so
How you doing?
Ah,
yeah.
good, thanks, man. Good to see
Good.
you. Mm.
Yeah. So he's been breaking down the whole NFT jive, man. You know, I kind of have a better. You know me. I've been like, yeah, NFTs. I'll get to that. You know, but he sort of demystified it for a brother. You know, now we're talking about the applications on the audio side, you know, for the
Okay.
artists and whatever. I think that's what he was trying. He was just starting to break down now.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe you can continue, and then we'll ask you some questions. You know, as you go, man. You know.
Okay. No
Yeah.
problem. So what I was saying is, in terms of music and the music industry, with NFTs, you can take an audio file, let's say a track by an artist, and then mint it by putting it onto the blockchain. And now that song becomes an NFT. So whenever it's bought, the artist can actually gain a royalty from every transaction of that song. As because it's now minted onto the blockchain, you can see the history of transactions. So there's this thing, let's say on the Ethereum, they call it smart contracts. Smart contracts are actually what allows you to input a royalty mechanism into that crypto token. So it's all automatic. So if I create a song and I say I want 10% of this song every time it's sold, resold, it's automatic. So now when you sell it on your, let's say your crypto wallet and you sell it to someone else, automatically 10% of that value comes back to the artist. So essentially you have, you know, in the music industry, you have this whole battle of ownership of one's, what do they call them? Their masters, you know? So you now have ownership of your song forever. Every time it is resold, a percentage of that comes back to you when you put that smart contract mechanism into the crypto token. Yeah.
All right. So you can have like, uh, let's say a smart contract, maybe that's looking more not on sales but plays, for example. You know, streams.
Yes.
So
What yeah. What they do is there's a I just forgot the name of it. There's actually an app where music artists are putting their songs onto it as NFTs, so that whenever someone listens to that song, the artist gets a bit of percentage of fees back to that. So the owner of the marketplace, they're also obviously making money on users and so on. So every time an artist sells or someone listens to that song, the artist gets a fee. So it automatically negates the manual elements of your you know, these music boards we have here locally. I don't want to say the names, the ones who are meant to give royalties to artists and a certain
yeah,
amount, but people
yeah.
aren't getting their just dues. It now automates all of that and makes it automatic, where there's can't be any type of fraud or someone withholding someone else's royalties. So you as the artist can set what you feel you want to get back from your plays, from your sales of music, by putting them onto the blockchain.
Nice, nice, nice. I think these guys been looking at called Odious. I don't know if you've heard of Odious,
Aha, yes, yeah,
right? And they kind of go in that direction. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, I think the saving grace for artists everywhere is the blockchain, really,
yeah,
because it's automated, and probably you get like that value uh, immediately. And somebody
mhm,
streams a track, and then it records on the blockchain that now you're being owed this much, and then it
mm,
just gets credited to your account immediately.
yeah.
There's no waiting for a whole year to get paid like 20 pula or something like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
No,
No,
that's
true.
that's that's, that's excellent. That's
Mm.
excellent. That's excellent. My man
Yeah.
Sticks.
What up?
Wagwan. Wagwan.
Chilling.
Yeah, man.
No, chilling, chilling, chilling.
No, what's happening, man? What's happening? Mm, What's happening? What's happening? Can you
No,
hear
no,
us, man?
chilling. No, I'm just listening. I'm listening to you guys because I know we touched. I mean, we touched on this NFT stuff in a couple of other shows, but it's always interesting to reiterate and to kind of show people the potential. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, man. And Tabo mentioned something quite important earlier on when we were talking about the other NFTs that they're actually working on creating, isn't it? Creating
Yes.
NFTs like
Yeah.
locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe you just get a little bit into that, man. This is trying to
Yeah.
understand because there's a lot. I've told like there's one artist guy that I know very
Yeah.
good, does animations and whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, take a look at this thing. I don't know how you would just it's something that I
Mm.
know, it's something that you could possibly benefit from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just get into that, what you're working on, and uh, you know and then possible ways that guys locally can get into this,
Mm.
and start making it a thing. Because
Yeah.
you have a lot of guys that they're sitting there despondent, they're depressed, nothing is happening, things are just, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely.
and going with the mandate of the show, we trying to empower people.
Mm.
We're not making any money from this, but we just say, hey, man, rather than sitting there and you're like crying the whole day, wondering what you can do, hey, look at
Mm.
this, man, try this,
Yeah.
create some tokens, put them out, who knows, man. Um, guys could become millionaires,
Mm.
I don't
No, true,
yeah.
true. I think similarly to what you're saying, we were just curious into the space. I mean, we had a lot of digital assets that we were doing in terms of 3D modeling. We are also coming up with a graphic novel, so we had a lot of artwork on that. So we wanted to take this art and this work that we've done and say, why don't we try and delve into this NFT landscape? Um, there then came what would become a winning NFT. So we started researching the market, seeing what other people are doing internationally. Um, and it all basically came down to, I think digitally right now, forming a community is actually the most important thing because you have to create a community around whatever you're trying to put out there in order to have you know a market for that said thing. Yes, you can make an NFT and just put it out and then see what happens, but for you to now maybe gain traction, what they're doing in terms of launching NFTs is that you create or find a community of people who have an interest in a specific thing. So if we're looking at maybe say Africa or Botswana per se, one could look at what we were the direction we were looking at is looking at preservation of culture. So there's a lot of traditional artists, who are creating these artifacts and art works, but disala hela ko thapong, or the side of the street as a sculpture, and they don't really go out there. They're not into the the internet of 4.0. So we wanted to take that sort of art and convert it into an NFT and say, look, this is what Botswana has to offer to the world. And if they buy it, they buy it. If they don't, at least we'll create an archive of beautiful African or Botswana artwork that is now protected and online forever. Even if there will never be a sale, it's still authenticated. Pardon?
Where can they see your collection? Is it on OpenSea?
Oh no, we haven't put it up yet. Sorry, we haven't put it up yet. I think
fix your mic there, Sticks. Fix your mic.
Through the process, we saw that there's this thing called.
It's a bit muffled. Remember last time you kept pressing, you press something and then it works.
Shall I continue?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think it's a bit clearer now.
Yeah, I was saying. So where are you gonna put it? Where are you gonna put your collection?
So we partnered with. We had partnered actually with this guy we had met. I'd met when I went to a pop tech convention in South Africa at WeWork, and he was into these things as well. So we sort of collaborated, and we wanted to put up our own marketplace, not in essence to create an African OpenSea, because the idea of community was what we were realizing, that a lot of these people, they use Discord and all these tools to create a community around that product, to have backers, so that when you do put out your project, you have people who are willing to purchase that said NFT. Because the world of NFT is filled with a lot of may I say fluff, people who are just minting anything and anything,
hoping. There's a lot of scams as well.
Exactly. So we were looking in that direction of, let's go bare bones and grassroots, and so let's have our own platforms. I mean, it's also part of what I always think with my companies, that we want to create technology for Africans by Africans. We're tired of coming into these markets that we don't understand. We don't even know, and we're there. You go on to, let's say, OpenSea, you put your NFT there, but it'll be like on the 1,000 page. People have to click 1,000 times before they see your artwork. So yeah.
Like with anything, it's not as simple as putting a song on SoundCloud, putting a song on YouTube or on Spotify. You have to actually direct your target market to your product. So how are you doing that, like as your company? How are you directing people to it? Because obviously this is a new space that people don't really understand.
I
mean, AK and I understand it, but like for the average person, like, so I got two questions. Like, how are you kind of trying to, because I think it's a good idea to get, especially, you made a point in terms of preservation of culture. It is actually a preservation of culture, number one. But then number two, how are you going to get the ordinary person who drives past, let's say those sculptures that you mentioned, whether it's by, the ones that used to be by Avani, which used to be the Gap. Now, how do we get that person who can appreciate that and maybe not buy it, but to try and understand it in the NFT space? And then how are you directing people to your NFTs on the marketplace?
And that's a great question. I'd say that we were very early in this venture. It's something we're looking at, but we did research different ways that NFT projects come out. And you've mentioned one of the key things is what we're doing right now, which is we have to educate. That's the first point of start. We have to educate Botswana firstly on what this space is. We have to collaborate, get people who are all, pulling in different places, but to create a community of people who are under one banner, so that the movement is much bigger. Because if we're, doing this on one side and some other person has an NFT project on that side, it's not going to be as as powerful. I'll look at the music industry and say, when back in the days when people were coming out, they'll host open mic sessions. So you create a community around that technology or that idea that you have. One perfect place to start off with in terms of marketing is Facebook. NFTs are being marketed on Facebook, but a lot of the international companies, they use these forums like Discord. Discord is basically where now.
Like I hate it, the
I don't even understand it. I've just read about it.
That's why I don't like it. I'm in a lot of Discords because of NFTs. Like I got into Discord because of NFTs, but I really don't like it, man. And like it's very difficult to understand. It's not user friendly. It's like Discord.
No, true.
Yo,
true.
I think we're about ready and ripe for a local NFT marketplace, man. Something that's uncluttered, that's just straightforward. Guys get in and they do their thing. But I don't know, man. Like what would be
look,
required?
When people say things like that, it always sounds like a good idea. I think it could be, but sometimes I think it would be good before we start. It's like saying we need our own local Facebook. Just because people brought up that tail end, brought up the gossip more side. We're gonna have we had it. We had Idumela. Before
I remember that.
We had Idumela.com. We were pioneers with this spread and selling thing. So it sounds like a good idea, yes, but I think at the moment what would be great is before we start, I think not that we shouldn't, I think we should, but I think at the moment it's very important to educate. What does NFT mean? Like, what is a non-fungible token? Do people even understand what that means? Do they understand the potential? Do they understand, the potential of smart contracts? What can you do with a smart contract? It's because you can put anything, literally anything in a smart contract. Anything. And you can make an NFT out of anything. You can turn a JPEG into cash just by minting. So you can turn a JPEG, an MP3 or MP4 into money if you mint it with the right thing. And then, but you see, the most crucial thing, like I said, all these forms of technology are just new forms of doing the same thing. It's art, it's culture. We're putting it out to the masses. But at the end of the day, like I said, whether it's you trying to get your CD in the top shelf in Musica, or you trying to get your NFT on the first page on OpenSea, it's the same thing that you're doing. So my question is, once you've made it, once you've minted it, what would you advise? Like, so somebody listening out there who's like, okay, I want to get into the NFT space. I want to make an NFT, because you can make an NFT out of anything. But how would you advise them to then position themselves to where somebody actually sees it?
Yeah. I think, as you're saying, you're very right in terms of the first off, the idea of creating, these owned platforms. We'll get there one day, but to start off with, as you're saying, we have to be very targeted, and the knowledge part is very important. For someone who put out an NFT, one thing, as we were discussing earlier, is the value aspect of an NFT. One thing that's attached to a value of a digital art or any type of art is the artists themselves. So by you creating a name for yourself, getting your followers on Instagram who are looking at your artwork, having people follow you on Facebook, your value of your art slowly incrementally increases, so that by the time you drop your NFT, you have these people that are like, yo, I want to grab the first, NFT by said artist, So I think that is something that's very crucial in terms of your community of people that appreciate what you do. You have to make sure you build that first, and then you put out that work that you want to put out to, that people can then attach themselves to. And, you don't even think monetary. You put them out as free NFTs to start off with. We weren't looking to even charge people at the beginning. We were going to bear the costs of the gas fee.
Of minting it.
Yeah. And then allow us to actually scale quickly, which when then we drop the next NFT drop and say it's 5 Bula each, economy of scales. We make that back in the second.
I got my first NFT through an airdrop. You might think of doing that. You could airdrop them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have actually bought any had I not had them airdrop.
Yeah.
And because they were airdrop, I was like, okay, what are these? And I checked them out.
You take away the barrier to entry, the risk, and that by just someone, like one thing that when I started and I was a novice, the first thing was when I learned how to create a MetaMask wallet. Now, when I'm on the internet, I can actually go to all these different sites and make purchases with cryptocurrency. So even just these mechanisms.
What was your first crypto that you bought, and why?
I actually haven't bought. I've been very no.
You run a tech company and you don't own any
I don't own any cryptocurrency.
Hold on a minute.
But why? Why don't you own any cryptos, man? At this point in time, you want to come in with the mass adoption when everything is too expensive.
So you run a tech company and you do not own any cryptocurrency.
I think you know what it is.
I don't mean right now. I mean ever in your.
No. I've never actually made the purchase. I think you know what it is right now is
What?
I'm still very, I'm getting into the space, and
What do you mean getting?
I think
you own a tech company. You are running the space. What do you mean?
I think it's just the investment aspect of it, and it's one of those things where I think for me, once I understand the space well enough, because cryptocurrency, it's a whole different market, in terms of financially now, where one day the value of this thing can be 10,000, 2 hours later it can drop to 5 pula,
Volatile, very volatile.
Yeah. So I've always been like
an appetite for risk.
Yeah. And for me, I've been a technology creator, if I put myself in that side, where I create,
So you create software and stuff like that.
Exactly. My background is in architecture. I'm an architect by profession. So I've been in the creative space. I'm also an artist. So my side has always been from the avenue of someone who's creator-based and not finance-based. So I've had a lot of risk aversion on that side. And I think coming onto platforms like this, I will learn a lot. And it's something I want to be a part of in terms of learning the financial side as well, and getting my first cryptocurrency.
This is interesting. So you decided to mint an NFT before you. Okay, so you'd never bought Ether before you decided.
No. What we did is that we created with the partner that we had, we created our own blockchain. We were trying to create our own, what's this called? Our own OpenSea. So we had our own blockchain, just a rudimental one, and we minted our own cryptocurrency just for free.
On what network? Yes. What was it like?
It was the Ethereum. It's like the two. I think it's like a step down from the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
I won't lie and say I'm the expert on that. Our partner is the one he's the expert on. He came, basically we had these creative assets, and he came in with this blockchain that he was working on and said, you know what, let's put our heads together and see what we can create. So he's the one who advised us on your MetaMasks and all of those financial side of things, of how to actually getting involved in cryptocurrency. And we were just testing it on this, how can I say, local running blockchain, where we were testing the minting process. We're testing someone actually putting up the NFT and displaying it on our website. We actually had a rudimentary website done that was running on our local server. So we're going the whole OpenSea direction and creating our own system that we could have control of in terms of even the market and know what was happening. And I think, looking at it, we maybe bit more than what we could chew at the beginning, because we were trying to create the platform. That's how our minds are.
Actually, like, we're going to create a metaverse.
We're creating our own thing.
We're getting it deep.
We're gonna go all the way. So I think it was also a good, because it was sort of like a project.
Wait, sorry, could you tell, like, for people who've just joined us or people who have forgotten, what's the name of your company? You've always got to plug the company.
Yeah, the company is 6 Dot Studios, and I think
What's your website?
Pardon?
What's your website?
Our website is sixdotstudios.com. And then I have a personal blog, which is virtualpro.blog. And that's where I write about, things like metaverses, interactive experiences.
What are your, are you on Twitter?
I'm on LinkedIn.
How about Twitter?
Twitter, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not very active on Twitter. I'm a Facebook, LinkedIn man.
I know you're a Facebook man, right?
Yeah. I think
guys, you don't even want Instagram. You're just like, no. Kisha. Give me
the village app has it all.
No, it's good. I mean, look, I think your story is very interesting, and I like the fact that you've got your toes in the, you've got skin in the game, and you have your toes in the space. Do you know what I mean? I think it's very interesting because your
website is down.
We've had supposed to say that live. Okay, we're live. Okay, you're supposed to send them a message and go, hey, oh,
domain issues. But for now, I think in terms of the educational space, the virtualpro.org are direct people there for now. Where it's a blog because I want to put out a lot of.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me, look, what do you want to see in terms of the development and the regulation? Do you think? Okay, two questions. I'm sure I know the answer to the first one, but do you think that there's enough regulation in the crypto space at the moment, like in terms of where you are in Botswana? And if not, what do you think needs to happen? And what do you want to see for the crypto space, but particularly in terms of NFTs, especially as an artist? Like, what is it that you'd like to see? And what would you like artists in Botswana to see, or any artists watching this right now? Yeah. What would you like them to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, I think the one thing is with technology's adoption. I'd like to see a lot more people talking about these things. And as much as I haven't made that jump into using cryptocurrency, I think that is the first point of movement. The finance of an economy is the first thing that has to get used. So, with money, with gold back in the days, so we have to start using cryptocurrencies. At one point, I saw these ATMs where you could withdraw crypto into pulas.
I think there's one gold. There's one there.
Yeah. It was at the airport junction. It's like this orange ATM machine.
You can withdraw like Bitcoin. Yeah. Like that, literally, I think. Remember we posted that thing, AK. Somebody actually broke into a Bitcoin ATM trying to steal the Bitcoin. Where's the goddamn Bitcoin? Where are these Bitcoins? You know what I mean?
So I think definitely that's one. The second space is the regulators. The banks need to get on this and start, because they have the power, they have the market. We have body e-wallet and all these things. I mean, if we start coming into doing trade and trading in these currencies, it will really start becoming something that now NFTs can build up on the back of. So I think now,
you guys have your own blockchain. Why don't you create a coin? I mean, you're 10 steps ahead. Look, me and him, we're just passive investors. You're like a mover and a taker. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was more of I think it was more of a rudimentary test element. It had bugs. It was, and with finance, you need to be clean and the product has to be great. So I think we're still quite a bit far from that. But essentially what we were doing is just testing a hypothesis and seeing, can we eventually one day do this? But we were going to default into actually just using the existing platforms and saying, okay, let's make it now about the culture.
Man, we need a homegrown crypto, man. Homegrown.
Okay. One more question then to both of you. How far away? How long away, in terms of time, will it be, you think, before there will be a locally produced crypto coin?
What are we on? I think locally just Botswana or just Africa as a whole? Both. I think Africa within next year we'll have an African, and I'm sure there probably even is one now that we just maybe it's not that.
There's a CBDC, like a central bank digital coin in Nigeria. But I'm just saying, like how you have, meme coins and Doge and that type of stuff. I mean, like that. Like just somebody who just says, you know what, I know how to code. I'm going to write the code for this. We're going to launch a coin. Like how far
and if you go on Etherscan and check the tokens, guys are putting tokens on there all the time. Obviously trying to scam people and whatever. But to me, it looks like it's not really that difficult.
I think at the end of the day, one can put something out, but the market is what we need to get going. We need to get people having a bit of a demand for this, and I think that would accelerate it. Because now with NFTs, it's starting to show a whole new market with not just the finance guys, but now the art people like myself are now starting to dip our toes towards crypto. I think I'm that much closer because of NFTs. So I think as these things come out, we're all leading towards that direction. And the early movers who are already way into cryptocurrency years ago are at an advantage because they've, been in the space.
Imagine you do a token or whatever, that's like, modeled around the concept Yamotelo. There's a smart contract in there that's like, governing, the whole thing. And I don't know. I'm just thinking out.
No,
is it the Zaka coin?
Yeah, that would be actually
good. ZAK. $sign ZAK.
I think it could be done, man. It could be done, and it's a concept that a lot of people know. Right now, as we're getting to end of the year, guys about
like look, we joke, but at the end of the day, all the horror stories someone tell would end with a crypto coin. Yeah, because the beauty of, look, the one thing that attracted me to this whole space is the fact that it's all open level.
Yeah,
so it's like there's no hey who can come or hey no. We're tracking him. We have a tracker on his car. This everything's there, like on the blockchain. That's the beauty of it. There's no confusion as to who put in what or what was taken up where. It's actually there for everybody for anyone to check as long as they have an internet connection.
Yeah, no, that is so true. I think a lot of it is, as you're saying, these the stigma about cryptocurrencies, and a lot of the dangers are they're no different from normal finances.
But I've been saying this for years. I've been saying like, there are people who scam people with a check. Okay?
Yeah.
Who would you check for? Do we now say that banks and checkbooks are evil? No, we don't. We just know that there are certain people who are going to try and scam you with a check. There's certain people who aren't. But we can't say that all checks are fraudulent. It's the same goes with cards.
Yeah. You know what it actually is? And I think personally it's also the one thing I'd say I was fearful of until I educated myself is the volatility of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrencies. That is the main thing that people can't wrap their head around. And I know someone made I don't know what it's called. There's a cryptocurrency that's one of one, that it's equal to $1.
That's a stable coin.
Stable coins.
Yeah.
Basically, USDT, Tether, that's a stable coin. Those stable coins are pegged to, as the name says, it's tethered to the US dollar. Yeah, so it's always going to be 1-to-1 with the dollar. It'll never be higher.
So just that should be our gateway into the Pula, because it's something we're familiar with as Botswana. I know this is the value.
The Botswana's creating as digital currency. Yeah, remember, AKA, you showed the website link. Remember?
Was it?
You remember you showed that website link of like the plans that they have in terms of creating a CBDC for Botswana.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, the payment. What? Yeah, there's a document that's available online. You can go look at it.
Which website?
On the Bank of Botswana website.
Man. Yeah, Bank of Botswana themselves. They've actually. It's there. The information is there. People would just rather be on Facebook finding out who's doing what instead of actually. But the info's
Doing
there.
Yeah,
that.
we'll find out where Magazi is performing. Yeah.
Shout out to Magazi, big up to Magazi. But I wanted to say something else in terms of I think one thing that people often overlook in terms of why one of the reasons why I always felt that NFTs would be great for musicians, especially artists, is because one of the things that is rampant throughout the music business or throughout any type of entertainment business is copyright infringement. Now, you cannot copy an NFT. You see what I'm saying? So, in terms of that, it changes the game because you now not only are you, as you said earlier, not only are you the person who's in control of the IP in terms of the master, you own it. You can actually reduce the amount of people that actually copy it, something which you couldn't do before. Like that's the one good thing about an NFT. You can't bootleg it. You can't pirate it.
Yeah. No, it's and especially now with musicians and the whole pirating, it was getting out of hand in a sense. There was no control. You can't really say you have any control until now with the blockchain, where you can have some semblance of control on ownership over your art form.
Definitely.
No doubt.
But I agree. I mean, if back to that estimate, I'd probably think, maybe in 2 years we'll see something coming up. I think 2 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah. But definitely the usage of these things is what's going to be very important in terms of people just getting used to it and getting used to that cryptocurrency is a currency like any other. It still has the same laws and rules as anything else. It's just that it's digital and it's decentralized.
No, most definitely. I think where we are right now, man, like we keep saying, Sticks, man, we early bells. We in like in the genesis, very soon, once we move from 4% of the world's population, maybe get up to 10%. Imagine. With 4% of the world's
right now we're at
population,
4% of the world's population.
Yeah, and that's maximum was about 3 trillion US dollars, which is
in a
the
short
market
space of
cap.
time. 4% is quite a lot.
So if you look at that, you say 4% of the world's population. I mean, it's not that much, and the market is 3 trillion. Now, once it gets to like maybe 10%, 25%, now we're talking. We're gonna level up.
Yeah.
Economies of scale stuff.
Yep.
I need to get in before that.
Yeah, man. Just
I need to get my feet wet.
Just to dispel some of your fears.
I've got my MetaMask right here, and I've just been looking at. I think I've been looking at the selling side a lot more than the buying, and I think it has to go both ways. It has to really go both ways in order to validate any ideas that I have in this space as well.
Dope.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because well, personally, I've been in the crypto space like since like last year. When was that? I remember I was talking to Staga, and then I was like, "Yo, this XRP thing?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I've been on that. What? And then he shows me the cover of the Economist, whatever, and then I'm like, I started doing.
I'm experiencing this.
Yeah. Man, we down in them conspiracy trenches, and then I got in. Right now it's like the only reliable entry point for us out here, to start getting into the different tokens and whatever. There's a crypto exchange called CEX. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Right. So CEX, it's the only like exchange I know that hasn't blacklisted Botswana. You know what I'm saying? You can attach your Visa debit card to that, and you can start. You know, first obviously you have to get USD, right? So it'll allow you to get USD, and then with the USD you can buy any token you want. So I was about to say earlier that to dispel your fears on the volatility, right? There's differences, there's what you call the rug pull, where guys will put up a meme coin and whatever, and people invest and get it, people will be all excited. And then all of a sudden, at some ungodly hour, these guys come in and they pull the liquidity out of that blockchain. They take the money out. So now your tokens are worth even below zero, and they're like worth nothing. We've gone through one of those. There was like a Shiba 2 token at some time, man. I think I owned about 6 billion of those tokens. I was like, yeah, man. It goes just to 1 cent.
Yeah.
Why?
It's done.
So there are those. So those you need to watch out for. You need to do your due diligence before you get into those types of situations, right? And then you have like the traditional, like tokens and what your Bitcoins, Ethereum, ones that there's no way that anybody's going to pull liquidity out of those things. But obviously they are affected by the up and downs. So what I have seen is that let's say something that will make you sick to your stomach, man. You go to sleep, you look at your dashboard, everything is looking good. You're like, oh man, this is excellent. You go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, everything is red, it's going right down, And then you're like, I just lost $1,000, So with that, what I realized is that that used to bother me a lot, but now I'm like, okay, nah, I'm just gonna wait it out. It's gone down. I'm just gonna sit and wait, and it'll come up. It'll come back up because what's happening is the dollar value of the token is what is going down, but you still have the token. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still own the tokens. If you got 1,000 tokens of this thing, and they were worth $500, today, and then tomorrow you wake up, now they're worth $130. You've lost all that value. Now, if you panic, then you say, let me sell, convert whatever I have to USD and whatever. Now that's where you've really lost. That's where you've really lost, because out of those tokens, let's say, and usually this is how it happens, man. The moment you do that, 5 minutes later, it's back up.
It goes back up.
Now it's too expensive for you to get back in. This is exactly what happened to guys with Bitcoin. There are guys who they were holding Bitcoin for a while. Then they were like, and then they sell. Then next thing it's at 10,000. Like, now you can't own a whole coin. You have to buy fractions of it because it's just way too expensive. So if a project is a good project, and preferably if the token has utility, it is in the smart contract, is built. Things that you do this, you do that, in sequence or workflows built into the token itself. That this can be used in the enterprise, in business, can use this token to do very important things. Those are the types of tokens that we look at and we're like, nah, this is a long-term hold.
And as you're saying, the community around it as well builds confidence. When you see the community that is invested in that item, and as you were saying with the investment thing, is it's like what Warren Buffett would say: the markets will always do this, but it's in an upward trajectory. Yes, there will be peaks and troughs, but it's going up. That's why Bitcoin now is going up.
Yeah. Good point there, because
Yeah.
the guy was saying, yo, if you're freaking out and you're seeing like this thing is going down like 3%, 5%, whatever, this is just take your mouse and zoom out. Zoom out of that, like, and then see the whole chart. You'll see that it's dipping, but it's this thing is going like this. It's doing this, but it's going to the right and up.
The
trajectory is like that way. So,
and I've heard people who say it's going to the moon. A lot of those statements are like, "Hey,
to the
this
moon.
coin is going to the moon,"
and a lot of talk of Lambos. Everybody wants to buy a Lambo in crypto for some reason, man.
And the main problem as well, always remember, because there's always going to be people who want, like you said, they want to go to the moon, they want a Lambo. The potential for that. So you have to be careful in terms of what you're doing. Don't expect unrealistic return. They can be amazing, even for NFTs. There are people who start out, sell their first NFT. There's some people who've been in there for years and they haven't sold one. So, it's a bit like everything else in life. It's a combination of many things. But I think diligence is one of the things that you need to actually, you need to be on your D. Like, be diligent, be aware as well. There's just so many scammers in this place, in general. I mean, look, we're going into December. I think there's, out of any month in the year, this is probably the year with the most scams of any kind. Like, social, all different types of scams. So you need to really be on point. Don't look for pie in the sky or unicorns. Let's just remember to be realistic.
No, true.
We're investing, we're not gambling.
Yeah, wise words with that one. Because a lot of people are looking to make a quick buck on these things and say, you know what, I'll make an NFT, mint it, and flip it for however much money. And you don't even realize the gas fee you paid to mint it, you're already running at a loss. So you don't even think about that because you don't even know what gas fees are. So I think you have to go through the steps and bit by bit, learn and gain confidence in knowing it. It's the same thing where I've never believed in hiring a day trader to trade for me. If I'm going to trade, I'll learn myself so I know what's happening, So I think that's what I'm trying to go into with this space as well.
What are you trying to trade?
No, not trading. I mean, just in terms of, you have all these people who are saying, invest your money and a trader will trade in stock for you.
Oh, those are scammers.
Yeah. I don't.
Keeping your money and make you rich. No. There's no one will do that.
Because why wouldn't they make themselves rich with their own money?
I tell people all the time, why would somebody take your money and make you rich if they can just use that skill to make themselves rich?
It's guys sitting there with no money, claiming that they could trade for you and make money for you. Most of the time, they'll blow your account and then disappear. And then if they make money, they'll take the money and disappear.
Yeah. Either way.
So, hey,
do your own research. Remember, folks.
Yeah. And as we're saying with NFTs, as you're saying, look for these drops, obviously, where you can just get something, very cheap for free, just to experience the whole process. Because I mean, online it can be very intimidating, putting your money right into something. So start small as well, which is one direction that I'm looking to go into, is just really get used to the aspect of owning cryptocurrency and trading in it.
Is there any coin in particular that you had your eye on, or anything that you personally feel that you want to buy?
Yeah, I think with what I was saying earlier is I was looking for that 1-to-1 coin with the US dollar, just as a stable. Yeah.
No, man. You know what? Stable coins are primarily used to sort of lock your value. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying you're watching this coin and it's doing this nice movement going out, you know, it's done like a 30% plus, you know, you could say, okay, I think maybe like tomorrow is gonna be a dip. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go in there and then convert your coin into a stable coin, right? Your different coins, and then now that value, like it was $500, whatever. Now it's sitting there as $500 in USDT or USDC or whatever, a stable coin again. And then like maybe like what you were thinking, the market then dips. It does like a negative like 40% or something like that. Now what has happened is you still have $500 in that value again.
You didn't
then
take
what I normally do is we're what you call hodlers, you know. We're in there for the long haul, and we appreciate the dips, especially the bigger the dip, the better. Because what happens is you want to keep like some money aside so that when this thing dips, you know that this thing can go like maybe a coin it's going as you've seen it do like 50 cents, right? And then now it goes all the way down to like 17 cents. Hex. You can then go get that money and then go in and get it at 17 cents. So now you're making, you know, for $1 you're getting like 4 or 5 tokens rather than just getting one. Again,
buying
and then you buy low and you hold, right? And then you wait for it to go up, and then you take some profits, and then you do it again. Well, that's the long-term strategy, and that's how you sort of try to save your, you know, your earnings and just keep value in your account. But don't ever sell when there's a crash, my guy. That's the worst thing you can do.
You're defaulting to the loss. You're accepting the loss at that point.
Paper hands.
Yeah. We want diamond hands, man. The more lower it gets, we get excited. Guys are like, you know, guys, and this happens with the, you know, guys who've been trading forex and options and whatever. When they go into the cryptos, yes, man, they go crazy. Pull out.
The stock market crash or something.
You know, it's a different like mind state. You know? We dollar cost averaging, and when they're like sell. You know.
No, that's really interesting. I think you're right about that. That you know, you have to be in it for the long haul. It can't be something you're just trying to quickly get some money off of. And I mean, at the end of the day, start with maybe an investment of cash that you're not, you know, don't go and put your life savings in there, but just say, you know what?
Look, some people have done that and come out free. One family put in their life savings and they can't. But look, obviously, this is not financial advice. You're 100% right. Like, don't, as they say, don't put in anything more than you would be comfortable losing. You're not comfortable losing money. Don't put any money in the market.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, go for the airdrops, man. You know, because there's free. Look, if you're saying you don't want to put money into the cryptos right now, just go in, look at all the airdrops, and get in there so you get free tokens. Or what? Those tokens sometimes you'll be shocked. Next thing you like, wait, this thing's worth $2 now. I got this for free. You know, and then you can then take that.
A lot of them, you can actually get, you may even get free tokens just for testing out. You know, like how you mentioned, you guys had your own blockchain, your own network.
Yeah.
They give out tokens for that, you know. So there are a lot of ways that you can test, you know, test people's network. Basically, there are a lot of ways of getting cryptocurrency that you don't have to pay for it. There are even games. Like if you're a person who likes playing like games, there's many games on the app, on the Play Store that you can actually earn in crypto. Or you can even do surveys as well. I've seen a lot of surveys. You can answer surveys and get paid in crypto.
They pay you in crypto. Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to dip the toes, the pinky toe into it.
Yeah, man. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the side, man, because there's a lot. Like I said,
you gotta remember, man, like all the people that were afraid of CDs back in the 80s or back in the 90s. What happened? The technology catches up with your fear and it overtakes it. So whatever it is that you're afraid of that is new, whether it's, whether you're afraid of flat screen TVs, whether you were afraid of Wi-Fi, whether you're afraid of smartphones, eventually mass adoption reaches a level where you have no choice. You have to just win the line. So with all these things, it's always better to get in early.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to tech. Tech is not something that you want to come in at the end. You don't want to come at the tail end of tech.
And it moves very fast.
Exactly.
Next year we could be in a completely different space in terms of it as well.
Next year, what we're going to witness, like 2021 and 20, what people didn't realize is that during this whole pandemic, a lot of, look, I'm not trying to start any conspiracy stuff, but all the 5G towers that they were afraid were going to be put up were put up. So the actual infrastructure is there, like all these Teslas that you see, all these electric cars. It's not a coincidence that now, all these electric cars are like Tesla's like, top selling make in America right now. 5 years ago, you wouldn't have thought that. 10 years ago, you would have said never. If I'd said 10 years ago, hey, in 10 years' time, there's going to be an electric car company called Tesla, which is going to be the top brand in the US, you would have said no. But that's where we are, because that's the way that the world is going. There are only going to be more smartphones. There's only going to be more artificial intelligence. We are look, the metaverse is out. It's Web 3.0. We're not going backwards.
Yeah.
We're not going back to turntables and cassettes. You know what I mean? We're moving forwards. So whether people like it, whether people don't like it, whether they accept it, whether they don't, that is what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah. No, definitely. I think that Web 3.0 thing is something I've been looking at is, you can go anywhere online and transact without having to get your card out. Like any website that can transact in cryptocurrency, it's at a touch of a button, you can just do your trade, purchase, whatever. So
and it's funny, because I remember when people were talking about the internet and they were like, oh, is it gonna catch up and no, blah 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 blah. Even things like Amazon. Oh, who wants to buy books online? I want to go to a bookshop and look for the book. What happened to Borders? What happened to Waterstones? What happened to all of the bookshops that used to exist? They're dead. They're all gone.
Yeah.
People.
And I think what's probably even gonna, when you're looking at like these, especially with NFTs, you're having these big entities buying NFTs. NetBank bought an NFT. They bought a CryptoPunk.
Yeah.
So that validates the market when these big players start moving in, and that means it's at the cusp of becoming the normality. Yeah.
Mass adoption is near. And I think as you said, as well, I think it's going to happen really, really quickly because technology, as we mentioned earlier, it moves so fast. You compare the phones of today to the phones of 5 years ago, they can do so much more.
True. Have you guys?
Some of the phones got more computing power than the most expensive computers back in 1998.
I know.
On your Android mobile phone is packing serious juice.
I'm even thinking of right now that people who are Bitcoin miners and all of that. Couldn't we one day just mine with our phones? Like your phone's in your pocket and you're doing the calculation.
I don't think it will be able to.
Yeah, it's too much.
I do that right now. There's a thingy project called Pi.
Right? Look, we're getting. Look, I'm getting Pi coins as I'm talking to you now. So
I'm on Pi.
okay, like Bitcoin. That's a little bit. to be able to
Yeah.
mine Bitcoin.
see that?
You can
Every day I
you
get
know
a notification. I
Mm.
get a notification to mine Pi.
yeah.
Right?
Wow.
I've been doing this. Look how many
How
Pi I
many
got.
Bitcoins
Yeah.
you got right
And
now?
it's ticking
Look
up.
at that. Yeah.
So
This is free. Like right now, I don't know. Pi kind of has a value on
Pi
the
worth right now.
unofficial what, but
How
they
much
haven't
Bitcoin?
officially put out a price yet. Let me check how much Pi.
that's actually very, very interesting. And
Look, I mean, I've got Pi as well on my phone. I've got another one called Arc. You can mine, but you can't mine in significant amounts. Like especially something like Bitcoin, you can't really mine it from your phone. You need crypto. But you can get it. Like there are faucets that you can get where you can get free Bitcoin.
yeah.
You can, like I said earlier, you can do surveys for it. You can play games for it. There's even BAT, AK, bat token.
Yeah, for the Brave browser.
Yeah, you can go. There's a browser called Brave where
Mhm.
if you install that as your browser, they will actually pay you for browsing on the internet in BAT token.
Mhm.
BAT is like, what's the BAT price?
Let me check. I'm checking right now.
So there's so many different ways that you can get cryptocurrency without actually paying for it.
Yeah.
Whoa! What? BAT is $1.34, man.
Crazy. I remember when that started, it was way less than that. So
This is
basically,
crazy. You
you
know,
can
I
get,
From
bought some
browsing.
BAT.
Just from
I
usage.
bought some BAT earlier this year.
what did you
Sticks.
sell it, sold it,
I had like just over 1,000 BATs, man.
and it
And
was cheap.
I got them for like less than 20 cents. You
Damn.
know, if I had held on to those right now, I'll be having some decent
That's a
money.
good good
Look at
respect.
this, man. This is it went up. It went up. I don't know if you can see this.
Damn.
Look at that. 27.67% in the last 24
24
hours.
hours.
It went up by that. You get this token for free. You
Yeah.
can buy it like off of CEX. CEX has got it. You can buy it.
Any exchange you can buy it. But like you
Yeah.
actually get it like for using the Brave browser, they pay you in BAT token.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is insane, man.
And it's opening up that whole thing of like there's always been this thing of these platforms, they get all our data, they get all our user,
And they
but
sell it.
free.
And
Now,
they sell it.
yeah, now there's a way people can make money from actually being on these platforms, and actually using these products, which is it opens up a whole new market and business model for companies as well. I think that's really interesting. I'm gonna definitely check some of these out. I've just been running my tabs here, just going to them as well, so I can just look into them just to get that, because I wasn't quite queued up on this the other methods of getting cryptocurrency. Yes, they may not be the popular coins, but it's still getting into the aspects of it.
Yeah, check out this link, man. Nomics.com.
Is it on the chat?
Yeah. In the you see it should have popped up.
Yeah.
Should have popped up on our private chat. But I'll put it on the screen just now so.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got it.
Also. All right.
Yeah.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So I literally spend, most of the time I'm looking at sites like these. There's Nomics, there are other ones. So this tells you real time the value of like different cryptocurrencies. At the top there we've got Bitcoin, currently sitting at 59,209, and just a week ago it was at 67,000, right? So for me, this is a good time to come in because it's gonna go back up to 67 and surpass it. You see what I'm saying? You see where I talk about waiting for the dips. Even this it's not like it's not even it's actually on its way up. It was even below this 15. I think it went all the way down to about maybe 57 or something like that, you
Mm.
know. So a lot of guys, the reason you're seeing it started to go up is because there were guys who were waiting for it to dip, and then
Mm.
they come in.
You
So when
come
they
in
come
and
in, what happens? There's liquidity, the value
yeah.
goes up, and
Mm.
then it goes up, it goes up. Then the guys will be like, "Oh, let me take profits," and then if there's enough of them, they pull that up, then it starts to dip down, right?
Yeah.
There's always like buying and selling, buying and
Mm.
selling. If you got more
Yeah.
people buying and holding than selling, then it's a bull market, you
Mm.
know. And if there are more people selling than buying and holding, then this is bear market,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
And
So
there's this fear on from what I was looking at on NFTs where sometimes you can have I don't know, maybe you let me know in terms of cryptocurrencies where you have a whale and they owning a lot of this currency. So the market value of it is, belongs to a select few people that
mm,
if they pull out, the whole thing would crash. So I
yeah,
think those are things in terms of. I mean, I'm sure you can see now. I'm quite a risk adverse person. I always look at the danger sides of things, but just so that I know what can happen. Um,
yeah, no doubt. I mean, like
yeah.
I said, it's about looking at the different tokens and blockchains,
Mm.
seeing you want to see if is there like a corporation that is publicly
Mm.
linked to this thing.
Yeah.
um does it have utility? How long has it been running? If you looked at the white paper to see, in terms of their roadmap and
Yeah.
the different utilities, and then you do your due diligence, man. And then if you want, then you get in or what.
True.
Uh, but like some of these things, they're big. Some of them are compliant, to regulatory standards and whatever.
Mm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of ISO. What is this? ISO 200. Let me see. ISO 200. Yeah, ISO 20022.
Mm.
Right? You should look into that. It's a new messaging standard for money, transactions.
Mm.
It's about to come in. It's about to become the de facto standard. From what
Mm.
I can see, everybody's going to sign on to that at some point, and that's how the commerce in the fourth industrial revolution will take place. If you're
Yeah.
not ISO 20022 compliant,
Can trade.
there's over 14,000 different cryptos and whatever. Most of those are going to die.
Mm.
But as we speak, there are, tokens that are, compliant as we speak. Uh, XRP,
Mm-hmm.
XDC, XLM, IOTA, IOTA, and Algorand, right? These
Yeah.
are like they have already done the vetting and everything. They're part of ISO 20022. So
Mm.
when it comes in, they're already ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They've
So
got that compliance.
yeah, so
Mm.
so 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 I look at those and then I'm like, these are my long-term holds.
Mm. Yeah.
These are my long-term holds, and it's better. They better be like low priced right now. Because I know uh, when things start to move, they're
Mm.
gonna shoot up. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And with that, I've done my due diligence. I know what's gonna work, and then all the other ones, it's
It's a
I
risk.
know
You
it's
just
a
take it.
gamble. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you
Risk.
got to play to win.
Yeah.
I like that's the way I could say, hedging your bets, having these long-term holds that have, the backing of certain, entities that they're stable in terms of, it's not like one of those where they'll pull a wool over your eyes and just, disappear the next
Hey,
day. And then you have these new ones that
let
are
me call
bubbling
you
up
back
and
shortly.
around that you can take,
Let me call you back.
medium-term risk into them. So I think for me, knowing such things like this ISO, 20022, it's a really interesting thing, because I'm looking at that, if I could have, I would have gotten into something like Bitcoin, because it's the most stable, it's the most anchored.
Hey, and what I'm seeing right now, it's like Bitcoin. There was a point I looked at it and I said, okay, it's basically its primary utility is as a store of value,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah.
You put money into Bitcoin and you just let it sit, and it just goes up and down, then it goes up, then it goes up. The guys who are saying probably in the next 6 months we might see $100,000 Bitcoin, for example.
Damn.
I don't think that's far-fetched at
Mm.
all. But the thing with Bitcoin is it's slow, for it to like do the confirmations and validations. It takes a long time. So it really slows down the velocity of money. It's not really but what these guys are doing on the side is there's something called Bitcoin Lightning Network, the Bitcoin Lightning, right? Let's look at that.
Yeah.
So what it does is I tried to do a little bit of research into it. It's something that it works like on the side. I don't know if it's like a side chain or whatever, and then it allows for instantaneous transactions. It I think it looks at, it says, okay, you've got this much Bitcoin, and then it says, I'll allow you to do this transaction because I can see you have this Bitcoin
God
here.
effect. Yeah.
So it moves quickly, and then that value is transferred, and then however long Bitcoin takes to do those validations, what it there's an instruction that locks that value and says when it's ready, it then moves to where it's supposed to be. But you've long done
Yeah.
the transaction. It's more like an IOU, based sort of transaction, and that
Yeah.
is a way to like speed up the whole Bitcoin thing. I believe once that comes into play,
Sorry, fellas, my battery died.
Oh, no problem.
I thought it was the usual, man. Your bandwidth on the fritz again. Yeah.
But,
So Bitcoin seems to be there's something going on there, man.
yeah.
El
And for me,
Salvador is going crazy with the Bitcoin. Now they're trying to build a Bitcoin city. We'll probably see the most advances
0%
in.
income tax, 0% gains. It's gonna be crazy.
Joe, what about China in this play? Because I mean, China's been blocking a lot of Bitcoin usage recently. So, and I mean, they're a superpower in the global economy.
Well, China. Obviously, it's like we can talk about what we've seen in the public space, right? They've been working on the central bank digital currency.
The digital one.
The digital one. When that intro to the crypto teacher, there's that part where that crypto dad Giancarlo, He's talking about how China is planning to give, you know, is planning to give, give like when guys there'll be
Gonna
like the
give away
Winter Olympics.
a lot of it, a lot of
Yeah,
the digital
yeah.
one.
So when athletes come in,
No, they've already done that. Like
they,
in many parts of China, they've done a lot of like tests and test runs.
yeah. So that's big, man. I think it's 2022, yeah, the Winter Olympics. So imagine, so by then they'll probably have this thing, fully out. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, there are places in China where they don't use physical cash anymore. You know,
Yeah.
they're using WePay, Alipay, what. So they're using QR codes to buy everything, even like a little chicken drumstick. And then there's whatever happens, and people are transacting. That's already
Completely
happening, man.
cashless.
Yeah.
I think that with that, them creating their own digital currency, I think it makes sense why they're kind of blocking out the transactions of your Bitcoins and stuff. And I mean, it being a communist state, they can kind of make those rules as they go along.
No, that's it's coming, man. It's coming.
I was shocked to see. I don't know if it's in your Shakhtar Donetsk. One of these football clubs. They were actually paying their players in cryptocurrency. It for them it was just easier.
OBJ said he's taking his salary in crypto. Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay, yeah.
He said he's going to take his entire new salary in Bitcoin.
So
that's crazy. Imagine they pay you today. It's like, no, I'm charging you guys 1.5 million, for the year. And then you see that that thing comes in, and then all of a sudden, Bitcoin goes whoop, 70,000. Wow! Now you've like it's something that's okay. I guess it was there even in like the fiat thingy. Like let's say for example, you've done some work for some guys in the US, right?
You get paid in dollars,
and then they're gonna pay you in dollars, and then like the very next day, before they make the payment, the USD against the Pula goes whoop, goes to 12, 13. Like I remember last year there was a time the dollar to the US went ridiculous, man. It went really high. So when those guys pay you and it comes and it converts to Pula, it's like woo, and that's another thing that it's really nice for guys in the third world, investing in crypto, because remember the value of the crypto is in USD.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if you're sitting there and you make like 5,000 US dollars worth of value, and then you bring that back, that's like times 10, times 11.
Yeah.
And also one thing that you got to remember, just to add, the US dollar or the pounds will not protect you against inflation. Cryptocurrency is very good at hedging against inflation. Inflation takes out your money. If you leave a million in a bank account, leave it in, your Botswana save. Actually, let me not say that because they might get mad at me. I don't want to diss anybody. I don't want to talk to anyone. You know what I mean? But if you leave it in a savings bank or at a post office account, it will probably it's going to sit. We know that the interest rates there are terrible. And basically, inflation is going to eat away at your money. So if you're getting like less than 1% interest, but inflation is hovering in the, I don't know what is the inflation rate in Botswana right now?
It's
What's it
high.
hovering?
It's
So, yeah,
high. I don't know what it is,
so
but I know everybody's complaining, man.
basically you're like, you are actually losing money by putting it in the bank.
True.
You know, because you're putting the money in the bank. Not only are they taking your money and lending it to other people and getting money off your money, roughly every US dollar that is put into the banking system gets loaned out 9 times. So they're gonna take your little salary that you get from whoever gives it to you, and then rinse that out 9 times to 9 different people while you're at home. You know,
not making a single cent of that.
Yeah, we do a kiddie bank charge. So you know, and then the sad thing is, you know, you say your money's safe in the bank. Yes, technically it is, but what's happening? You're actually losing value.
Yeah.
Because of inflation.
It's more of a slow death. You know, you don't feel it, but it's happening.
Yeah, we got Mo G up in here, man. He's dropping some signs. He says, by the way, one of China's major reasons, actually is the main reason that they are hard on Bitcoin, is that they say the mining consumes too much electricity. In fact, they have had power shortages recently. There are sustainability issues rearing their heads. Carbon footprint of Bitcoin is becoming a major issue not only in China. It's a tough one. Yeah. So that's the problem with your proof of work based crypto or blockchains, in that you have to
the power it consumes.
Run these systems which are crunching heavy numbers in order to validate transactions and also keep the networks in check. But a lot of guys now are forking their networks and moving to things like proof of work, proof of stake, which are seen as more greener types of cryptos and blockchains, in that you're not burning off a whole lot of electricity to get this thing going and whatever. So no, we're just watching, man. We're watching to see what it is. But like what we were saying earlier, my guy, we need to build our own infrastructure here, man. We need to see a Botswana based crypto token. We need to see or tokens. We talked about a blockchain or a crypto token that is for the exclusive use of these people, because they're dealing with the money and no the paper digile mad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if that money was actually kept in the blockchain, and you have smart contracts that actually detail or no,
this is where
at the end of after
transactions
300 days or 365 days, whatever, this is what's going to happen, and it's built in there as a smart contract. So you can't have somebody arbitrarily
unless someone's hand is on the mouse.
Yeah, so you want to also keep your admin keys away from whoever, just have it where
No, there was this story, I don't know if it's a urban legend, I would say, some billionaire who had investors in cryptocurrency and he passed away and he had the access key to his account, and now that's just money that no one can never get.
Hey.
And having said that, please let us remember, please, I saw this on Twitter. They were offering, what were they offering? They were offering something, and it was a Google document, and it looked like a legitimate airdrop form. And it was like, yeah, we just need the 12 seed phrase, I'm like, anything that asks you for your recovery phrase or your please, guys, just
Mm.
delete the person. If it's on Telegram, if it's on Discord, leave the group. If it's on Telegram, block the contact.
Yeah.
In fact, on Telegram, if anybody direct messages you that you do not know, it's probably a scam, because that's just not how it works, you know?
Yeah.
And anybody that says to you, hey, we need your recovery phrase, that is a super scam. Never, ever, ever. Don't even give it to your... Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want to break up any happy homes, but don't give it to your wife. Don't give it to your husband.
It's a tough
Do
one.
not give it to your husband or your wife. It's that serious. It's that serious. Don't give it to anybody.
Yeah, and hope you don't get divorced.
No, because you know, like what you're saying. Jokes aside, if you forget your recovery phrase, that's it.
Yeah,
that is it. Like you will never, ever, ever see those coins again. There's no way that you can see them. There's no way you can recover them. There is no, there's no customer service.
Yeah.
So please just remember, and don't store it on your phone. Don't store it in your email. Don't take pictures of it. Write it down somewhere. Memorize it if you can, but really, really write it down. Keep it in a safe or vault. Yeah. That's actually your best bet. Even your MetaMask. Like right now, you mentioned MetaMask earlier. These guys just don't do it because they're just, especially now, every single day. And like they become more and more sophisticated, and they look less and less like actual scams. They look so legit. Like they look like the one I saw today looked like a regular airdrop.
Speaking of which,
there
was this guy who was trying to buy some NFTs, and you know how you have .io, .com, and it's written there as OpenSea, but it's not .io. And
what is it? What? Something else?
Exactly. And in the middle of the night, he was tired, and he just went in, typed in his phrase, and it was just a bogus site. It was a dummy site. It looked exactly like OpenSea, even up to the NFTs displayed and everything. So checking the fine print of even the websites now is really important, because you might be on the wrong site and you think you're on the...
Basically anything, like how you mentioned MetaMask, yeah? If you're on a site or you click onto a link, okay, first of all, try and stay within the DApp. If you're on MetaMask and you're going to go on a Web 3.0 site, stay within the actual app itself. So use the DApp. Don't do it like from Chrome. Don't do it from Safari or Firefox or any of these other browsers. Just do it from within the actual app itself. So launch the browser within MetaMask. Then you know that at least you're using the DApp. And also just anytime that you see anything that is saying to you, give us 0.1 Bitcoin or ETH, we'll give you 0.2. No one's gonna give you more.
Yeah, man, I fell for that one, man.
Listen, everybody's falling for that. But I'm just saying to you, don't do it. There are so many. Like like the other day. Remember, I said last call. I said there was one where some guy hit me up and he was like, "Hey, look, I've got Bitcoin on this site, but I just need you to access." Why are you calling me? Why do you want to bless me? You don't even know me. What do you want to bless me for? No, you want to bump me. You don't want to bless me. So just stay away from all that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, those are the pitfalls. I think as a newbie, I think those are very critical lessons to be adhered to. Yeah,
lessons not learned in blood or money are soon forgotten.
Yeah, like nobody can scam me, my G. Nah. Just get these guys are everywhere, man. Like you get into, there are a lot of these crypto based like Telegram, groups and whatever. Hey, ask a question and they be like, "Hey, how do I do whatever in my MetaMask?" They will come for you, man. You start getting private messages. Start getting private messages. No, do this. Hey, go to this website, and then you'll find they made like a fake website that asks you to put in your seed phrases. Then in 5 minutes later, your account is clean. Like, where's my tokens? Yeah. Moari
It's crazy.
is talking. He's still talking about the Bitcoin miners. He says a lot of miners in China have already moved to the U.S. To do it there. Texas wants to position itself as a major Bitcoin mining hub, right? So I don't know.
What's funny? You know what's funny? Like, I like just before we lock off, because I know it's almost time, but
Yeah,
the
you got
the
6 minutes.
president of TZ, you know, as I mean, you mentioned El Salvador. El Salvador was going to use geothermal energy to power some of the Bitcoin mining in El Salvador, which is a great idea. Now, the president of TZ actually said the same thing. The lady, she was considering actually doing that, like using some of the volcanic activity that's within TZ to actually power Bitcoin mining. That would be, I mean, for Africa, that would be great news. You know, it offsets a lot of.
Imagine using our crazy sun to run.
You know, this is it. Like, I mean,
solar
like,
power plants
because what I was saying is,
that are
like,
doing that.
from what
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier about China, like, cracking down because of the carbon footprint and the amount of electricity it uses. It's true, it uses a hell of a lot of electricity. So if you can use any type of geothermal, natural type of energy to do that, hey, that's the future.
Yeah. I mean, Scandinavian countries are using their cold weather just to cool their equipment.
And the heat, oh yeah.
Yeah, no, we're gonna start seeing more of this.
Yeah,
You know,
I think,
renewable, whatever.
yeah,
But another
definitely.
thing that's most likely to happen is guys are just gonna, fork their blockchains and move to more greener things like proof of stake, for example. You know, where all the possible tokens that could possibly be there on that blockchain are minted all at once, and there's no proof of work literally will just disappear. Robert. So you won't have any more of these having to run farms of servers, crunching numbers, spitting out, these hash keys, which are getting, more and more difficult to put out. And then also the possible, revenue you can make from it keeps halving every sort of, I don't know how many, every year or every month, couple of months or whatever, but it's becoming more and more difficult, so yeah, we're watching, we're first movers right now, because I was aware of Bitcoin back in '09 when it was less than 10 US cents, man.
Wow.
I'm still kicking myself for not buying. I should have bought like 10,000 of those and just put them somewhere and forgot about it. I would retire. I would be retired right now.
You'd be gone.
Hey, but those opportunities, I believe, they're still there now with a lot of these, hardcore utility coins that are ISO 20022 compliant. If you look at any of them and you see like they're low. I mean, XDC right now is about 10 cents, man. It's 10 cents. XDC is gonna be like looking basically at the trade finance side of everything. They're like quadrillions worth of US dollars that are in that area, and they're gonna have to be funneled through blockchains. So you know what's gonna happen, so I'm just going in there, all these cheap tokens that nobody cares about. But if you look at the white paper, you see that, yay, this thing is an enterprise level tool, but look at it. It's worth 5 cents. It's less, it's 0.0 what. Those are the ones you want to get into and hold, and hold those 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years, maybe even 10 years. It don't matter.
Yeah.
At some point, that token that's worth 10 cents might be worth 50,000 USD. That.
And you have the proof in Bitcoin. It proved it. That's
Yes.
And
Bitcoin
things don't
is
just happen once. It's cyclical. Yeah.
Exactly. And this stuff is happening even right now. I mean, I kick myself all the time. Like for example, BAT, basic attention token. I bought quite a lot because it was cheap, man. It didn't cost me like much.
And
I kept it for a while. Then I was like, let me get some more XLM. Now it's over $1. I'm like, wait, that's even more than what XLM is worth. So I'm like, man, I should have just waited. Yeah.
No, awesome.
That's great. Sticks, are you still there, man? We're about to wrap up. Okay, he's dropped off. It was another great show. I mean, I learned quite a lot. My man Tabo here is okay. Here comes back Sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on, man. Your thing is playing back from what I'm saying. Yeah. So I was saying it was a great show today. We learned quite a lot on NFTs. We met Tabo. Tabo is doing quite some amazing things. Hopefully we'll work together to develop some things, that are gonna be beneficial, to Botswana. We cannot be left behind when the fourth industrial revolution starts coming, because when the train has left, it's going to be very difficult to jump back on it. Yeah. So, any last words, Tabo, before we jump out, my guy?
Yeah. No. I'll just say thanks for having me on the show. It's really been a good eye opener. And I mean, coming from researching through NFTs, realizing they're exactly one and the same in terms of cryptocurrencies. The main thing that I was looking at is the utility of NFTs as well. It shouldn't just be a piece of art that you just look at. Look at those projects that have intrinsic utility baked into them, so that this thing has legs. It will be used. And I think that's one of the difficult things with NFTs as art, is that it's not enough for it to just be a good looking piece of art that's worth a lot of money. There has to be a community around it. There has to be a utility. Is it a gaming skin for a video game? Does it give you access to real life things? Like some of the art NFTs give people access to like events where you get like a ticket attached to it. You get giveaways attached to it. So those sort of things where the physical and digital are blurring, I think that's the best place to start, because it's familiar and you can bit by bit get into it and just trust your guts, as I'd say, and do research. That's the main thing. Yeah.
No, that's excellent, man. That's excellent. I'd like to thank you once again for joining us, man. Like I said, we normally have these sessions on like Tuesday and Thursdays.
Guys, sorry, man. I'm like, I got calls coming in like crazy. I have to jump out. You know the life of a life of a crypto.
Sticks, man. How does give me in, man. No, man. We'll just wrap it up.
Yeah, Tabo, man, it was real. So, like, give us the socials. Where can we get hold of you?
Definitely. The company is Six Studios on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then my personal email, you can catch me at seane@six.studios.com. And I think I definitely want to follow the page and learn more into the cryptocurrency side of things as well, because it's something I'm interested into going to, and actually, pulling the trigger and owning some as well myself. So it's been really great.
No, that's excellent. That's excellent. I think next week we're going to try and connect with a tax consultant. And bring him on the show so he can like tell us, in terms of the current laws in regards to taxation. How does it affect people who are connecting into this whole cryptocurrency thing. If you make some money, what happens? How is it taxed? Is it just taxed as income. It's just when it hits your account, you're gonna say, okay, I made 10,000 pula, and then the government takes this much as tax. I don't know. It's some special thing.
Yeah.
How do they see it? Do they see it as you trading, like as a trader in stocks and bonds or whatever? I don't know. So we're gonna try and line that up, and then we'll have somebody who knows way more than we do on this to come and explain it.
No,
Right?
awesome. I definitely want to catch that episode. And
Yeah, no, it's coming. It's coming.
yeah.
All right.
Awesome stuff. I think also just in terms of the background of what we've done as well, I'll also share the research that we were looking into with the NFT project. And I mean,
Yeah.
we were always up for collaborating, having more people with more intelligent people than myself coming on board as well, who can also give advice, because you can't build these things alone. You need to
Yes, it's
have,
community
yeah,
based, man. Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right. No, man.
Awesome.
Again, thank you for coming onto the show today, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.
All right. Cheers.